how to speak in a way that makes people actually want to listen to you. And just for the record, I was the dude who had zero influence in my 20s. I'm 34 years old now, but when I was in my early 20s, I had zero social confidence, zero women. My first girl left me for another dude. I didn't have anything. I couldn't go up and interact with people. I was too afraid to coach people. I had minimal friend groups. But using the two concepts I'm gonna break down with you guys in this video, I was able to go from that to now having a following of over 1 million people on multiple platforms, be able to go out and interact with the world, coach thousands of men online. Like, I have high levels of influence and high levels of social confidence using the two factors that I want to talk to you guys in about this video. So let's go into those things. And at the end of this video, there's also like a third exception to these two topics that I'm going to break down as well. But the first thing to understand, guys, is like when I was in my early 20s, there were several dudes that I looked up to online. I didn't know anything about these guys' lifestyle. I didn't know who they actually were, but I looked up to them. I saw them on social media, and you guys probably have this too. There's certain people that you look up to online and you don't even know anything about them, but they have influence on you. Think about that. We don't even know these people. We've never met them in real life. We don't actually know what they even are really like in person, but yet they can influence us, whether it's for the positive, but some of these people even for the negative. You know, it just depends on what they're putting out there. And the reason that I was so drawn to some of these dudes in my 20s in hindsight was I just thought they were cool. I thought they had a really cool aesthetic, and they had like the body and the look. Some of these people had the lifestyle that I was drawn to. Like, I thought it was really cool. And just for that one reason right there, I would listen to them. And that is not the whole point of this video, guys. I'm not saying that's all it is, but I want you to think about that one concept because it's really powerful. Because a lot of you dudes online, I'm not even saying like you're not smart, you're not knowledgeable. There's a lot of dudes watching this video right now, and you know a lot more than me. You know a lot more than me in several different fields, but nobody's listening to you. Why is that? And you could say, oh, it's not because I'm putting out the content, this and that, but no, because I've talked to thousands of you dudes out there, and honestly, I could just say this, if you don't have admirable qualities about you physically, I'm not going to really listen to you. I know that's maybe controversial, and maybe that's going to trigger some people, but it's the truth, man. It's the cold, hard truth. If you don't have the aesthetic, I can't really be influenced by you. But there's an exception to it. There's an exception to it, and that's the third part of this video. I'm going to get there in a minute, right? But this is the first point because it's just so true, dude. It's so true. Think about anybody that you genuinely like look up to or are influenced by. Most of these people, they have some type of an aesthetic that you genuinely admire or that you're drawn to. And if I could think about the dudes online that I don't think that they're aesthetically attractive, they have lower levels of influence. It's just how it is, man. All right? It's not the end all be all, but it has to do with when you're first starting to meet somebody. Okay? The longer you go into the interaction, the more you've seen the person, the less that actually matters. And again, this is gonna tie into the third point of this video. It's kind of like bonus, subtle, nuanced point. But the very first point is just, if you're talking about going out and interacting with the world, if we're talking about putting content out online, if we're talking about meeting or dating or networking, I promise you, just instinctually as human beings, we are designed to look at environment and seek out where's the value and where are the threats in the environment. It's a survival mechanism. We need to do that because if I couldn't look at somebody and evaluate if they're a threat or not, and then I go up to them and it turns out they're a massive threat, I could get killed. My survival is at risk, right? So we are absolutely wired to seek value and threats in the environment, 100%. And most of you dudes, you're not reeking of value. And I'm not talking about you pulled up in a Lambo. I'm not talking about that, but I promise you that would change someone's perspective of you. If you pulled up in a suit in a Lamborghini with a fresh haircut and you looked lean and jacked and you had good skin, good hair, I promise you 1,000% people are going to start to listen to you more than the homeless, chubby, smelly, average looking dude who clearly doesn't take care of himself. Do you know why? Because it actually implies you don't have confidence in yourself. It's not the end all be all. There are other points in this video I want to discuss, but I need to really embed this into some of you guys' head, because I was sold this bullshit sales things in my 20s about, like, if you just have game, you could get any woman. And I'm not even, like, this video is not even about pickup and dating as a whole, but, like, understand, guys, it's not just about, let me just study these lines and say these lines, because I've talked to so many of you dudes who are trying to put out content. Are you trying to get better with your dating life? You're trying to, I don't know, increase the attraction even in your own relationships? Dude, why don't you become more attractive? Why don't you actually take your diet fucking seriously and get that shit dialed in? Why don't you actually get a six-pack? Why don't you actually put on 10 pounds of muscle? Why don't you actually take your calorie intake, your macros, your diet, your fitness seriously? Your grooming, get a haircut on a weekly basis. Seriously, guys. That shit definitely has influence, okay? That's the very first part, because so many dudes they fixate on all the other things. And I see all of these dudes where it's like, yes, those other things are important, and I'm going to get to that too. But don't ignore this first part, because especially off of a first impression, the instant the very moment you see somebody, this means a lot, especially online, especially off of a cold approach. It definitely has influence. And anybody that says otherwise is fucking lying, dude. Don't believe the bullshit. Let's get into the next point though, okay? Let's say you've already been working on the physical, or if you haven't, you should start doing that. But then the other point, if you actually want to speak in a way where people listen to you, you need to speak with a certain tonality, with a certain rhythm, with a certain pitch, with certain articulation of your words. And that combination needs to exude high levels of confidence and certainty. All right? There's a certain tonality, a downward pitched tonality, especially if we're talking about an educational video. There's a certain type of delivery and pitch and look that indicates I'm educating you. I'm confident in the words I'm saying, and I can speak with certainty. If I said, hey guys, I don't know if I could actually help you, but I just want to share with you guys what maybe has worked for me, because I've been trying to do some things, been trying to get some more influence, but I don't know. I might have had influence. Maybe. Okay, that's an exaggeration. But what you don't understand is, like, each deviation, going further into that exaggerated thing, like with each deviation, even if you're just a little bit of a deviation, that affects your influence, right? So if I speak like this, it hits in a certain way where I come off with certainty. But I can speak on this concept because I'm actually qualified with this topic. Like, I've spent 10 years going through this. I'm not recycling some bullshit. I'm not some 21-year-old in my car spewing some Andrew Tate bullshit, right? Like, I've actually gone through the work, and so I can confidently say these things. But I just know that, like, every dude that I see, and I listen to the way they talk on camera, and I can tell he doesn't speak with certainty. And that takes time. That's okay. But you need to be aware of those things, and you need to work on your communication, your vocal tonality, your pitch, the rhythm you're speaking at, the words you use too. This applies to women. You speak to women in a way that's unconfident. From the moment you go up and you approach, we can tell you're not confident, dude. We can tell you're not confident. So in these different situations, having the right aesthetic and having a high level of confidence, that's what people listen to. People listen to certainty. If someone is speaking with uncertainty, we're not focused on it, because it actually doesn't provide us with any type of direction. If the dude says, oh, that place might be good, it actually doesn't do anything for us. Like, think about that. If we're talking about places and the guy says, oh, that place might be good. It might be good, it might not be good. The sentence actually doesn't really do shit for me. But if the dude said, and I'm not saying to lie, I'm showing you an example here. That's one example, but the other example is, dude, that place is so good, we need to go there. We're going there, bro. You're gonna love it, right? And again, I'm not pushing you guys to speak every sentence like that. I'm just showing you an example of how talking about one particular place we're gonna get food, and the way that the person talks about the thing has a different level of influence, right? So the way you look off of the initial impression. People will evaluate for value or threat, or like we're just going to categorize you in a box. We need to. It's our brain trying to solve the problem. This is a stranger. I need to evaluate, is he of value? Is he a threat? Who does he remind me of? I've seen this behavioral pattern before in a dude who talks like this before. I need to categorize him somehow so I can just have clarity on where he's at in the environment. That's how we scan the environment. And that is done by the way you look, the way you move, the way you talk, the way your voice sounds. If I looked like this, but I talked like this, I'm done. Any one of these elements is massively off, you're done. 100%. And some of you dudes, just your voice disqualifies you. I don't care how you look. You talk whack, you're disqualified. And I don't care how you talk. You look whack, you're gonna get disqualified. At least off rip. Now let's get into the third part of this though, because here's the kicker. There are situations where the look doesn't necessarily matter, and people will listen to you. It's situational. So let's say I'm looking for how to read books faster. I want to know how to read faster, and I click on this video, and there's some dude who looks whack and speaks whack, but he's sitting on a chair, and there's just 1,000 books behind him. Like this whole wall was behind him was just books, and I was like, this dude looks like he reads a lot of books. I would listen to him for that situation. Now that dude would not have influence on me in any other part of my life. But if I started talking to him and then he could actually demonstrate to me, even though his look and his vibe and the way he talked was whack, like he's actually not hitting any of the things I was just talking to you about, and this is why this is the exception, I would still listen to him because he's actually demonstrating he has a high level of expertise in a specific situation. So I would listen to him for that one thing. Now, if I continued to be influenced by him in that one area, his value would actually build up in my eyes. And then over time, he may actually be able to influence me in other areas. But if I would have went to him off rip for these other areas, I wouldn't have actually listened to him. I wouldn't have even given him a shot. Right? And so this is how actually unattractive dudes can still get success in a lot of areas, even with women. Like there's women that are with guys that aren't that attractive. Now if you look at the girl who's with an unattractive dude, if he would have went up and tried to just cold approach her, no shot. Off of a pickup at the bar or a day game approach or even online dating, no shot. No shot. We could just see it, just look at it. But he was put into a certain situation where he was probably able to demonstrate value, safety, security, trust. They got to talking over time, whether it was through a classroom or an introduction or a wedding, I don't know. And then he was able to create an opportunity for there to be perceived value. So whether it comes to dating, whether it comes to seeking knowledge, whether it comes to having influence in these different areas of your life, yes, the aesthetic is important. Yes, the way you talk is important, but it's not the end all be all. I'm showing you big exceptions to these things, man. Whether it's with dating or content or business, like there are a lot of exceptions to these things. And people also like to position their lifestyle as a way of like drawing you in, even if they don't look that good, even if they don't speak that good. Like I said, they pull up in a Lambo or they're in some penthouse or they're at some crazy party. Like a lot of dudes will leverage women around them. You know, like that's another thing you could do. So lifestyle is an element that ties into the aesthetic. Forgot to bring that in earlier. But you can utilize these concepts together to start creating more influence in your own life. You need to be working on your look on a daily basis. You got to hit the gym, got to get the diet on point, the grooming, skin, smile, everything, man. Deck that out. Communication. You need to communicate every day. You should be talking on camera every day. Whether you have a business or not, communicate on camera. That's going to help you with your in-person interaction. It's going to get you to practice talking out loud before you even go out into the world. And if you're trying to build business or content or communicate with, it's digital, bro. It's 2020. It's going into 2025. You're going to need to talk on camera. You got to do that every day. Every day to assess your tonality, the way you speak, the way you articulate. You got to work out these flaws in your communication over time, man. I've been doing this for a very long time. I was not always like this. I told you guys I was a loser, but I've put in time. Right? And then situational. So figure out what are the things that you're drawn to, that you could have an expertise in, that you could actually help other people with, and maybe that's actually aligned with you connecting with other people too, in terms of networking, or maybe you could even bring women into your life if you have a certain lifestyle. All right? If you want to get better with these elements, right? Like with the diet, with the discipline, with the fitness, with the mindset, with the work ethic, with the business, with the content, with the dating, with the communication, with your relationships, I can help you with these things, bro. I've been going at it since I was 20. I've been at the gym since 17, but I've been working on most of these skills since my early 20s. I'm about to be 35. If you want to work with me directly, the link is down below. 30-minute one-on-one call directly with me. I will customize the entire program so it's tailored to your goals. Daily live coaching calls every single day with me directly. I can coach you on a daily basis, variety of different times. The community's lit. Get cash giveaways every single month inside the community. You can literally get paid for being in my program. And then 100+ hours of content going over all of these different areas. Try it out 1 month risk-free. The link's down below. That's all for this video, fellas. Got to get to it. Saturday morning, still putting in the work. No setbacks even on the weekends. Let's turn up. See you tomorrow, boys.